What up, world, and welcome back to another episode of the Wellness Check podcast. This week, we discuss friendships. We talk about dealing with friendships, maybe cultivating friendships, finding community. I dive a little bit into what I have to look forward to with my bachelor party coming up, my buddy's bachelor party, I should say. And we also give a preview of next week's episode as well. If you guys are enjoying what you're watching, listening to, you want to join in, please feel free to reach out to us. Follow us at the Wellness Check podcast on Instagram, and also to like, share, and subscribe our YouTube channel, Operation Red Paperclip, where you can find new episodes every week of the Wellness Check podcast. Finally, like and review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you get your podcast as well. And without further ado, please enjoy this episode.
Oh, no
shout
way!
Out to Zach, man.
Dude, shout out to
people reaching out almost every day.
Oh, yeah.
Excited about what we're doing. So
criticisms are like homing pigeons. They always arrive back.
It's like our interactions with the people around us, right? Relationships, parenting. I feel like a nice segue into this week's episode would be friendships.
That's how this podcast started.
I didn't want to state the obvious. I was trying to give examples that weren't David. But yeah, exactly, man. I mean, back again.
Dude,
live
back again.
From what did we say? From the best kept secret. Shout out to Shoot Productions, man, and welcome to another episode. David, how you been, man?
Dude, I've been great. I've
Yeah.
been great. It's been such a wonderful week. Once again, we're on episode 3, man.
Yeah, it's flying by. It's crazy. I feel like we were just here, like it feels like yesterday, you know, but obviously seeing the reception and everything, and seeing the interaction and the messages that we're getting, I'm sure you're getting as well, through our social medias, individually. I feel like I have people reaching out almost every day.
Oh yeah,
excited about what we're doing. So
the aspect of man, it's funny because I have people. So currently we're on episode 3.
Yep.
And I have people just started watching episode 1 and
Nice.
telling me about episode 1. I'm like, bro, we're on episode 3 right now,
Yeah.
man. Or like, did you watch episode 2? I'm like, man, I just got on episode 1 right now, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's
I'm
good.
like, no, wait until you see episode 2.
Yeah, we got another one coming, and we're only getting better, hopefully. You
I
know
know,
what I mean?
man.
And yeah, my son asked me actually today. He was like, "Are you done? Is this like the last one?" And I was like, "Nah, hopefully not, man. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully we keep the ball rolling." But
Exactly.
yeah, shout out to everybody who's been tuning in, interacting, and as always, I feel like it's important to say too. You guys are as much as a part of the conversation as we are. So getting messages and thoughts and insight, more interaction with hopefully the community that we're building is going to be exciting too. So
Absolutely.
yeah, man.
Pretty soon we're gonna have to name our tribe, man. We're gonna have to name like
I never thought about that.
Oh,
Have
bro.
a full on like.
name for our people. Dude.
I'm not even gonna. I was gonna start rattling off names, and they're all corny. So we'll workshop it in the background and come back to you guys maybe with a better consolidated list of names. But yeah, man, we're recording this on a different day too. I am leaving tomorrow, which is normally when we normally record, to celebrate my boy and his union. We're doing a bachelor party weekend up in Denver, and it's going to be exciting. I'm only getting older, so it's going to be interesting to see like what the stamina and the energy looks like out there, because we're going to be out there for 4 days, and got a lot of plans.
Wow.
So I'm hoping I can squeeze a nap in or two along the way. But it got me thinking. We were kind of discussing topic for this week's episode, and in the theme of kind of what we've been covering, I think more along like the relationship side of things, like our interactions with the people around us, right? We talked about relationships, parenting. I felt like a nice segue into this week's episode would be friendships and building community.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think we kind of touched on a little bit too in previous episodes, which is kind of cool to say now. In previous episodes, we touched on community a little bit. And so, yeah, I thought friendship would be a cool topic to discuss. I want to just open this up with like an icebreaker question when it comes to friendship. What would you say are important qualities of a true friendship?
Man, a true friendship, man, it's difficult, right? Because I feel like friendships has different levels.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because a friendship as an adult is not the same as a friendship as a child, and as a friendship as a child is not the same as a friendship as an adult. And
Yeah.
we kind of like talked about it on our way here.
Yeah.
About this, and that's why I was like, man, it's crazy to talk with you, because just to let people know a little bit about my life, I don't really have childhood friends that I talk on a daily.
So like today.
Today.
Right.
Right? I don't have childhood friends that like acquaintances. Yeah. You know what I mean? I feel like that's the level that has gone. And then you were like, "Oh, bro, I'm still friends with with one of my friends since we were 11."
Yeah.
And then you were telling me about how like you guys like used to sleep on the same floors together and stuff. Dude, tell me about this, and tell me how all of this, how that level of friendship has evolved since like childhood to now.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit about this on the way over here too, in regards to the dynamics of friendship. I'm approaching 30. I'm still gonna hang on to the fact that I got 1 year, you know what I'm saying, before I hit that big hallmark in my life. But the older I'm getting, the more I'm seeing the different dynamics and levels in friendship. And we were chatting about, obviously the outline tonight and everything like that, and just mentioning that I had a friend that I grew up with since I have a few. There's a group of us that we still stay in contact today, and there are ebbs and flows. With one particular friend of mine, like we were best friends, like basically brothers, like his family, I know his family, he knows my family, the whole thing, grew up getting into trouble together, playing sports together, everything like that, man, being at, sleeping over at each other's house and all that stuff. And then like life happens and you start to build your own stuff, you follow your own paths and things of that nature, and you just naturally drift apart. But recently we've been able to form a friendship again along the lines of kind of where we're at in our lives today. And I just find that concept fascinating, man. To answer the original question too, I would say like with the value of friendship, I think a part of that is longevity, where you can kind of like, it's unspoken that you are both doing your own thing.
Yep.
But you're, still, there's no drama, there's no static, nothing went wrong.
Yeah.
It's just more so like, hey, I see you, you see me. Like if I see something, maybe post something on social media or we run into each other, like I'm gonna say what's up. It's always love. But at the end of the day, we're kind of like off living our own lives.
Interest is different.
Exactly. And that's another quality I would say in friendship too, is the interests have to align, right?
Yeah.
Like think about making friends as a kid. You really start making, you start off choosing your friends based off of like the stuff you guys are into. All my friends were made through playing sports for the most part. And whatever. There's other friends too. You kind of have commonalities and stuff. I stayed in trouble a lot as a kid, so like I would make friends with kids, and we'd be in detention together, like in school suspension and stuff. And you'd be like, man, I like this guy. He's not half bad. You know what I'm saying? And you find yourself having commonalities, and that's where friendship starts. And I think that's what happens as you're older too. But the difference is your interests change, right?
Yes, yeah.
We were kind of talking about this concept too. Shout out also to my wife's sister who brought this to my attention.
Yeah.
In regards to face-to-face friendships compared to shoulder-to-shoulder friendships.
Can you explain to me what is face-to-face and shoulder-to-shoulder friendships?
And I never really I didn't know what that was until she brought it up to us, and I was like, oh wow, that's an interesting concept, and when I explain it, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, because it's I think it's a concept that we all kind of know of, but it doesn't really get talked about too much. But essentially, the difference between like women forming friendships and men forming friendships, and I'm kind of like pigeonholing both like genders or whatnot, but like traditionally, there's women share space together, talking to each other. They're doing what's called like face-to-face interaction, right? They're going out and getting lunch together, having coffee, whatever it is, but it's more of a conversational thing that's occurring, as opposed to men who are, form friendships side by side, right? You're normally doing an activity together. Like if you think back to, you know, a lot of guys like I said earlier, form friendships through commonality, and a lot of that's like activity, like sports or video games. I know for me was a big thing, and you're not getting into each other's like personal lives when you're doing that.
Yeah.
You're just enjoying spending that time together, right? But the difference is, as you get older, you don't have the experience, or in a lot of cases too, you're not well equipped to have deeper conversations, you know, with somebody, you know, when life starts happening and even when you're younger, because I mean, kids go through crazy stuff all the time too. That's traumatic or, you know, tough to deal with. And for those shoulder to shoulder friendships, that's not always going to be a friend that you can confide in, because you guys just don't have that type of friendship, right?
Yes.
You guys aren't used to talking to each other in that manner. And if that's the trajectory that your life kind of follows, which for a lot of guys in particular, I'm sure women as well, that's a lot of times the case, where you have a friend through circumstances or scenarios or activity or whatever the case may be, but it's not a deep connection, you know, and then that's where you kind of feel alone, even if you're surrounded by people that you care about or people that care about you. And it gets interesting. It gets tricky, because you could be going through something on your own, and your friend might be going through something as well, but you guys aren't used to having those face-to-face connections, and, you know, therefore you're sort of, you know, on an island essentially.
Yes.
And you know, that connection would be the answer for both your guys' problems in some cases, right? Sharing that burden, getting it off your chest, confiding in somebody, feeling support and love and reassurance, whatever it is that you're going through, no matter how little or big. I like to think that for myself, I've cultivated those face-to-face friendships, but it's not common, you know.
Yes,
I got a lot of buddies who, like, we don't really have like deep talks like that, you know what I'm saying?
No, 100%.
And I think that's more so the norm.
Yes.
And even like we talk about this all the time at the gym, you know, finding a community, finding a tribe of people that you can have those experiences with. Yeah. As an adult, as you were saying, there's levels to this that just, you know, can make or break not only friendships, but also to your well-being.
Yes.
You know, your life's perspective.
I think a lot of times when it comes to that, to that type of relationship, especially when it comes to friends, what it is we have shown ourselves in a different light to our friends. So when something goes off, we try not to show that to our friends.
I think it's like weakness or something.
Oh, well, it's judgment. We're scared of the judgment that our friends, ultimately our friends would never judge us if they're real friends.
Yeah.
You know, if they're real friends, they'll never judge us. And that's why I always tell like people how I think it's so weird that people nowadays, even before, would say intimate things to a stranger than to a friend.
Yeah.
It's crazy how that works. I've had people of every walks of life, from airport conversations to bar conversations to conversations as a bartender.
Yeah.
You know,
that's a big one, I'm sure.
Oh, bro, like I would hear some like intimate stories that I'm like, dude, where's this guy's friend?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why is he
Who's here
confiding to a
him?
bartender?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's helping this guy?
Yeah.
You know, and these type of stories or these type of conversations should be heard by your peers, so they know that you're hurt, so that they know that you need help.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is like we're just too afraid. We're too afraid to let that wall down or to allow ourselves to be judged by our friends, because in all actuality, maybe that's what we need, the accountability.
Wow. I mean, shoot, that's a good point too, as far as accountability as well. I think there's a flip side to confiding in your friends or building a community of people that can kind of like that can see you for who you are. Is sometimes we don't want people to see it because we don't want it to change, you know, because we know our deepest, darkest secrets, and we know where we're slacking, what we need to like tighten up on and stuff like that. But when other people start to see it, and if they actually care, and they'll start to call you on it, or not even like from a confrontational standpoint, but like maybe just check in, and like, you know, them showing up for you is too much accountability for you. You know what I'm saying? Like them just being there for you is like, I don't want to fight this fight, but now people know that I'm going through this thing, and it's easier if I just don't let people in, and that way they don't know, so therefore I don't have to like change anything.
100%.
You know? And I think we all kind of struggle with that a little bit to some degree, because you know, there's things that we can be better at in general as people, and a lot of times, like when I was growing up, a common phrase was like, what happens in this house stays in this house. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so it's like, a lot of times it was more so, you know, like, whatever, conversations or whatever the case is.
Yes.
Like, it's nobody's business. You know what I'm saying?
But we all know this. We
Yeah,
all
exactly.
know this
It's a common
saying,
thing
dude.
growing up. Like, you know, what happens in the house stays in the house.
Dude, I remember getting beat up by my grandfather.
Yeah.
And then my grandfather throwing, because we just had like a cordless phone or whatever or whatnot. He threw it at my grandmother.
Yeah.
And then he tells me literally that saying, but in Samoan.
happens?
Yeah. like, but in a way, I get it. I get what he was trying to say.
It's a level of protection, right? Because you don't want to bring any kind of embarrassment or anything like that towards like your family or yourself. But anyway, the whole point of me saying that is the fact that like internalizing the are you looking to make sure?
Yeah.
I want to see how many times. Never mind. I won't say.
No,
I was
no,
gonna say how many times the leaves
hair.
will move in the back of the hair.
know, dude.
Oh man. I forgot what I was saying now. But yeah, the wall that you have up. You
Yes.
don't want to let people in because it's no one's business, and
Yeah.
I think that we just kind of are naturally wired that way, so it's hard for us to confide in our friends.
Yes, and you know what? And I like that you worded it as protection, because there are people out there that do not give good advice.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Yeah.
So when you put yourself out there and when you put your business out there, you're essentially allowing people to judge it, and some of those people that are judging it definitely should start looking on the inside. Like, you know what I mean? I was talking to someone the other day about this, about how a lot of times when criticism is being told upon you, it's like a homing pigeon going back home. Like, what's his name? Dale Carnegie. He has that saying about criticisms are like homing pigeons. They always arrive back home.
Gotcha.
And like when people are telling you what to do about your life and everything of a sort, ultimately they're the ones that need to hear that message. And that's where it's at, where like you're kind of protecting yourself from those type of people.
Yeah.
That are judging you in those type of ways. But I mean, I digress. It's
no, I mean it makes sense. You got to be careful who you take advice from, who you confide in, because you know with that vulnerability does come like people might not have the best intentions for you. You know what I mean? How do you think somebody can, like, what are some good tips to build, like, let's say there's somebody right now who's struggling with friendship, you know what I mean, or struggling with like community or whatever the case may be. How would you suggest that they find friends, open up to maybe the friends that they have, and sort of like build a good foundation for relationships in that manner?
I have a unique aspect of it, or a unique take on it. This is how I've experienced like earning friends. I like how I'm saying it like that, but that's pretty much what it is, you know, like gaining friends.
Trust, like earning their trust, earning their, you know, support, etc. I think it is an exchange in some regards.
Yes. Go to the most extreme, uncomfortable thing that you want to do or don't want to do, and do that first, and then scale your way down. It will allow you to find out what you like and what you don't like by trying it out.
Yeah.
And by you doing all of this, you will allow it to find two things: you, yourself, and friends along the way.
Yeah, I like that.
So
That's true.
So you'll start finding these people that are as uncomfortable as you are.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, dang. So you're doing this with me too? Okay, great.
Yeah.
You know? And you start finding this commonality and this friendship with doing the most uncomfortable thing with someone on your first date. Like,
right.
Day ones are always the best because you're doing it with somebody that's having the same mindset as you.
Right.
They feel uncomfortable, but they're going to do it because it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And when you find friendships like that, those friendships tend to last longer.
Reminded me of this saying, like, if you want to find friends who read, go to the bookstore. You know, like right now we have interests in our lives that are changing.
Yes.
Again, the stage of life that I'm in and that my friends are in right now, it's like we're evolving in real time. So like our interests are changing, our responsibilities, our priorities, etc. And you might be outgrowing your friend group in a lot of ways, or you might just be struggling to find friends. And to your point, like, you know, if you're into reading and you want to find friends who like to read, go to the bookstore. You know what I'm saying? Like, put yourself in that environment, like you were saying, and you'll see that there are people that have that's commonality, who feel the same way, and you can spark a friendship that way. And I think also too, putting yourself out there in general starts to give you more confidence to make more friends, because it always starts with us. You know, we're always like our harshest critic. Like, you know, I'm too weird. Nobody's going to like want to be my friend. You know what I'm saying? Or like whatever. Like, we're always that nervous kid on the first day of school. I think even as adults. But the more you kind of put yourself in those uncomfortable situations and just go for it, the easier it becomes. But kind of to that point for me, like the friends I have right now that I would say that are like significant in my life are people who we share a common goal. I think that's like the anchor that kind of like keeps us together. And it's all in different aspects of my life. Like I was kind of telling you off air too, like I feel very lucky right now that all the relationships I currently have, friends, family, etc., like all are, I don't want to say serving a purpose because it sounds weird, but like it's leading me down the path that like I want to go on.
Yes.
Right. You know, I have a friend who is extremely creative, extremely talented, and we share those interests, right? And we're helping each other become better in that regard.
Yes.
I have a friend who I train with, and we are trying to push ourselves to like what we're capable of, and we're doing it together. You know what I'm saying? I have a buddy who is embarking on marriage and figuring out just how to be a better man all around, and like to be the best man that he can be. And I'm also on that journey too, and we're doing that together. You know what I'm saying? And I think as you get older, figuring out what you prioritize the most, and if you have friends who are like, you know, who you love and you want to, you know, see grow and you see more in them and stuff like that, maybe bring to them some of that, you know, some of those priorities to them and say, hey, I want to be better in these ways. I feel like you do too, man. Like, what's going on? You know, maybe starting the conversation that way. And I promise you'd probably be surprised how common, how much you guys share, how much, you know, you have in
common ground,
yeah, in that regard. Because I have buddies who like, you know, I'm very much into like, you know, building a business for yourself and figuring out how to have something of your own in that aspect. And I start talking about it with some of my buddies, and they're like, you know what? I want to do the same thing. I've been having these ideas for this, and this. And you're just like, dog, okay, let's talk about that. You know what I'm saying? And you continue to carve out, you know, your friendship evolves in that way, and you guys are kind of growing together as well.
That's how this podcast started.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to state the obvious. I was trying to give examples that weren't David, but yeah, exactly, man. I mean, shoot, that's exactly how this podcast started. The moment we met, we kind of started talking about things that were important to us from a life perspective first. I mean, you helped me in a difficult time, you know, kind of that's how our friendship started. And then it was like, man, you're into this stuff too. I'm into this stuff too. And we share, you know, common goals. I think that's important. You know, as long as the goals are aligned, I feel like it's way easier to maintain friendship with people because you guys are working towards something.
100%. And you and I came to that conclusion together on the same day. I'm like, oh,
really?
man, we need to come. No, well, with the whole, like, we need to start a podcast.
Oh, that part. Yeah, yeah.
Like, we need to start a podcast.
Yeah.
Like, okay, this is what we need to do.
Yeah.
And this is how we're going to, because ultimately, just to preview everything for everybody, this is not just it. Like, this is the stepping stone.
Yeah. Stage one.
Yeah, this is
Phase
stage one. Like, if you're along for the ride, you guys are going to find out why this podcast is even here. Yeah. So just letting you guys know that that up front for sure.
Absolutely, man. And to that point too, had you not been open with me, you know, about kind of like what you were interested in achieving in your own personal goals and stuff like that, I probably would not have opened up about it myself. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, oh wow, you're into these. I'm into, you know, accomplishing these same things. Oh, wow. And then that friendship grows. But
oh wow, it's fun. Oh man. Okay, I know we had to kind of move on in a second, but I really want to talk about this. It's funny that you should even mention that, because on that day, I knew I needed to tell you that.
Yeah.
But so just to set the scene for everybody and everything of the sort, we planned to work out on that morning. Morning.
Yeah.
It was a Sunday morning, and I knew that I needed to tell Anthony that we need to start something together.
Yeah.
Like, I knew that, like, this is what we need to start. I don't know what we needed to start, but I know that I needed to enter this conversation in with you. I knew this. An hour goes by into our workout. We go into the sauna and everything of sort. We have a great conversation that everyone is listening to, by the way. Everyone is like ears perked, like, oh man, these guys got some good insights, man. We leave, and as we're leaving, in the back of my mind, something is telling me, like, tell Anthony. Just tell Anthony. Just say it to Anthony. Say it to Anthony and everything of sort. I chickened out, man.
Yeah.
I chickened out and not tell you. I was like, all right, man. I'll see you, bro.
Yeah.
Like, everything's great. That feeling, if I continued to listen to that feeling, can you just imagine? This wouldn't have even been here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, man, and so with that being said, how many people have felt that exact same feeling and listened to it?
Yeah.
Like, just imagine on how many great friendships would have sparked a multi-million-dollar company.
Yeah.
But because of the fact that you never opened your mouth and told your friend about this intimate thing that you needed to tell them, or like this thought that needed to happen, you ended up just listening to your fears.
Yeah, and I guarantee you, man, like, if you ask anybody that you're close to, like, hey, you know, how are you doing, genuinely, like, what's going on in your life, etc., they're going to have stuff to get off their chest. You know what I mean? They're going to have stuff to share. And it could be just like business opportunities or deals like that, or like creative adventures and things of that nature, or goals, or whatever the case is. But sometimes too, it could be like more of the heavy stuff, maybe places that they're struggling and things that they're going through. And like, it's a two-way street, man. You open up that conversation and that dialogue, and you realize, like, you guys can help each other through that same thing as well. But I've been in those situations too, where I'm like, man, I should probably say something, or I hope they're doing all right. And especially amongst men, you never want to be looked at as like the weird, you know what I'm saying? Like, why are you asking me about how I feel, man? Like, you know what I mean? Like, be cool. Like, what are we doing? But I don't care. Like, all my friends know that, like, if I'm not above telling any other person that I love and I care about, man or woman, that I love you and I care about you, you know?
True.
And the same thing as far as checking in on them. Like, I'm down to have the deep conversation. Sometimes I feel like I'm a bummer because I'm like, you know, oh yeah, we're having such a great time, but like, how are you doing though? You know?
How are you doing though, bro?
Is everything okay? Are you like,
are you sure?
Yeah. Tell me, is there anything you're afraid of at this moment that I can, help with? Like, I'm down to have those deep talks because I personally, it's a little self-serving because it allows me to kind of have those conversations as well from my own point of view, but also too, it would kill me to know somebody I love is going through something, and I had a chance to talk to them about it and I didn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
in whatever capacity that is. Like, I never want to be that friend, who's like, I never saw it coming, you know what I mean, or whatever the case is, and you have a chance to help them through something that they're struggling with, and you don't, you know what I mean?
100%.
And I'm not perfect,
Yeah.
for sure. I miss those opportunities, but I think it's important for us to kind of keep that in the forefront of our mind. If there's somebody that you haven't talked to in a while, maybe just start the conversation off with like, hey, what's going on in your life? What are you going through right now?
You'll be surprised how much of a presence a text message will have on a person that hasn't spoken to you in a while, man.
Yeah. I had this idea of just like randomly FaceTiming my friends every once in a while, just checking in and just like for no reason, just like, hey, I love you, bro. Hope you're doing good.
Yes.
How's everything?
Yep.
Because I'm a terrible texter. For the most part, I don't text back at all.
Dude, me too. Oh,
so like people will have a conversation and I just never, really respond.
I had a conversation today with my barber, dog.
Yeah.
And he was like, bro, you didn't even text me back, dog.
Yeah.
I was like,
your barber too. That's dangerous. Next time you're in that chair, man, he's got
dude, well,
his whole fate in his hands.
He cuts me
crazy.
and my wife's hair, dog.
Yeah.
So
But
no.
That's an L. You guys both getting this L because David wouldn't text back.
Right. Yeah. Well, he's absolutely one of a really good friend of mine.
Yeah.
Obviously, but he's like a really famous barber too.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, the fact that I didn't even text him back.
Yeah.
He like called me out.
Yeah.
In front of my wife.
Like, I get it. Yeah, I get it all the time, and like my mom she'll hang it over my head. Like, I know you don't like to text. You know what I mean? How they'll throw those like little subtle shots, and I'm like, I know. I'm sorry. I'll be better. But yeah, man, just like the random check-in, like you were saying. Maybe it's a text, even a FaceTime, a phone call, obviously, goes a long way. Especially maintaining those friendships that you've had for a long time. That like you guys do grow apart. You guys do shift. And priorities change and stuff like that. And that's why I like social media, because like when I'm on there and I see my friends have kids and everything like that, I'm like, yeah, let's go. My buddy, he's having his second child, and they had like little, portrait things of the family and everything like that, showing that the baby's coming and all that stuff. And I just was like, man, beautiful family, bro. I'm so proud of you.
So
I love you. Like, I hope you're doing well. And, you get that chance to just check in with your friends, man. I wanted to talk about, man, we have so much to cover. I completely went off on a tangent.
Don't even worry about it, because I feel like being on this tangent right now, it's amazing. It's great because the other thing now that I kind of want to talk about, but if we have to move on.
No.
Okay, dude, I actually want to talk about your bachelor's party that you're going to. Bro,
right on.
So you're going out of state for this, and you're going tomorrow.
Yeah.
You're literally filming right now.
Yep.
And you are you even packed?
No. I mean, kind of. Like 70%. There's some laundry I got to get done first to make sure, you know what I'm saying?
Guys, just to let you guys know, when we shoot this, God bless Ron, by the way, and my wife.
Yes.
We shoot this really late. Because we both have lives. We all have lives. And this is the only time we get to film.
Yeah.
So, like, it's late. What time is your...
Listen. So I got to be at my buddy's house at 9 in the morning. I'm probably not going to bed till like 2.
Damn.
If I'm being just honest with myself. I got to shave. I have to pack. I got to finish doing laundry. I got some work I got to get done before then. Because, like, I'm going to be gone for 4 days, and like there's no way I'm going to get that much work done while I'm out there. You know what I mean?
No,
and
not at all. Nor should you.
Yeah.
Nor should you. You're celebrating your friend. This moment is all about him.
Yeah.
And that will show you, or that will show him how good of a friend you are as well. And then just remind me again, what is your position inside this?
Like at the wedding?
Yeah, in his wedding.
So I'm the best man. Yeah. Which is hilarious in its own right. Because if you guys know me, like, I can barely keep myself together, let alone like any. So the planning has been extraordinary. Shout out to the other boys involved, man. Hopefully they'll see this. I think a couple of them will. they've been saving me because the flight changed. They changed our flight time.
What?
And like I didn't even notice until like 2 days ago. And so I sent them the screenshot. They're like, Bursey, why does this say like 12:15? You know, we're supposed to be leaving at like 3. And I was like, oh yeah, about that. Looks like they changed our flight, boys. So hopefully you guys can get out there sooner rather than later. So yeah, it's a circus, but I think we're gonna be all right. I think
100%.
I feel like bachelor parties have to have a good balance of like a little bit of chaos, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mixed with some organization. And so we're in for a good time.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
It's going to be super awesome. Yeah. I hope someone documents this. I hope someone is going to film something.
Yeah. We're going to be on our best behavior. So, that's number one. And so, secondly,
wake up with Mike Tyson's tiger and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's we're called the Wolf Pack too. That was my take for us. Yeah, no, it'll be good. We're not doing anything too crazy, but my buddy's fiance, soon to be wife, they had their bachelorette party and stuff like that. So there's always like the one-upping of bachelor party now. So it's like, oh, now we got to do this because they did this.
Do you know what they did at their bachelorette party?
Not like really. I know that it was, it seemed very lavish, very like luxurious.
Yes.
And
they went up to Sedona.
Sedona, yeah. And so for guys.
And you're
we're going to Denver. Yeah.
Bro, you're already one-upping by going down to Denver, bro.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Nah, I'm excited, man. And it's cool, too. Speaking of the friendship thing, I hope he doesn't mind. I'm not going to go too much into detail. I don't want to give his whole life story because he definitely listens to this, and so does his wife. But he'll get a kick out of it because we met through our job. Like, we worked together.
Oh, no way.
And it was like a work relationship, man. We both were, like, just kind of thrown into this weird position where we were tasked to do this thing, and it was chaos, and we kind of helped each other through that, and through that we built a genuine connection. He goes to Lotus now as well, and it's been awesome to see his growth and our friendship grow from the work relationship that we had to like me being a big part of his wedding, and seeing him and his wife and everything like that. And that like, to me, I love every part of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what friendship I feel like is about, is seeing your brother, your sister, whoever, like, grow into the person, like the man or woman that they're becoming. Yeah. What?
Is this Zachary?
Yeah.
Oh, no
shout
way.
Out to Zach, man.
Dude, shout out to Zachary, bro. Yeah. Hey, congratulations, man.
Yeah. You see him in the gym, say what's up.
100%. I will absolutely say what's up to Zachary.
I'm trying. I didn't want to, I don't know.
I don't think we're putting him on blast, dog.
Protect that and shout out to you, Zach. This is the Zach episode.
Oh, yeah.
Dedicated to him and his
what?
His union.
Yeah, his future wife. That was super awesome.
But yeah, man, it's cool. Yeah. It's cool to be a part of. This is my second time being a best man.
Okay.
And what I realized too, shout out to my buddy Greg. I feel like I did not deliver my best man duties the first time around. Yeah. Because I didn't know really what it was about. But now this time around, I feel like I did a little bit better.
Redemption.
So, progress. But it's just cool to be invited into people's lives like that.
100%. It's a big honor, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a super big honor.
And I'm just like, they trust me with it. That's hilarious, but I love them to death for it.
Do you have your best man speech? Oh, it's not even yet, right?
No. The wedding's, it's coming up. I think it's in August. Yeah, it's in August.
Oh, okay.
So, I've been practicing my best man speech. I don't even know if we're gonna do a speech. I don't know.
Hey, man.
I'm sure if there's opportunity presents itself, best believe I'm grabbing that
ready.
mic. I got stories. I got jokes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But,
dude, how long have you known that? You since you guys been working together and everything.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's been about like 4 years, maybe 4 or 5 years of friend, maybe 4.
Dude, he's killing it right now in jiu-jitsu, bro. Yeah. Yeah, he's so committed. I see him every day.
Yeah.
Like every day, dude, this guy's on.
I'm proud of him, man.
Yeah.
And that's another thing too. What really brought us together, and I share that experience with a lot of guys in my life. Like, as far as friends go, we were at a point where we were both trying to progress and grow, and we're like, man, we got to do something different. We got to change. And that saying of like not everybody can go type of
Yes,
thing.
yeah.
Like I think we both felt that to some degree, where it's like there's something missing, and so to be able to go through that experience with somebody, with a friend, and kind of like share that experience together, I think brings you closer too, and it's just awesome to see, man. It's awesome to see the growth.
Absolutely.
So
Damn.
yeah, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah, shout out to Zach. This is a little diversion from the original topics, but I'm excited, dude. I can't wait. We're gonna have to document it just to see. I don't know. We'll see what we're able to capture. I know we're going to a Yankees game, which is gonna be dope.
He needs an old fashioned, mind you.
Yeah, we're gonna do it up. Again, I'm worried about how much sleep I'm gonna be able to get while we're out there because it's gonna be ugly. All right, so I wanted to pivot. Diversity in friendships too.
Ooh.
One thing I experienced, and hopefully like people can share this, when the episode comes out, and maybe we can get some feedback as well. But I feel like I've been lucky to see different cultures and different perspectives on a myriad of things through the friends that I've made. Like I have friends from all different types of backgrounds, religiously, from ethnicity and everything of the sort. And I feel like it's made me more of a well-rounded person.
Yes.
I think the thing that can bring us all together is like kind of sharing space and commonality, and realizing that we're not that much different, you know. And I think that's important when it comes to a friendship. Have you had friends from like different backgrounds coming up, and what was that experience like for you? Did it leave any kind of impact on you?
It did. It definitely gave me a fresh perspective on life, and there are certain similar things, or not certain similar things, like the same thing, we looked at it differently.
Yeah.
And it was great because I was like, oh wow, I never looked at it like that. Coming from an artistic background, like I would look at a painting, let's just say like a Van Gogh painting, and I've always had this thought of a Van Gogh painting, of this painting that he has with, I don't know if you ever know about this painting of Van Gogh, where he has like over 1,000 strokes on this painting. Like that's what it's known for, but it's a painting of him without his ear. That's essentially what it is.
Okay. I've seen it. I never knew that the history behind that.
So my interpretation on the 1,000-stroke painting is pretty much him allowing himself to know that it's a different perspective every day. And then I had a friend who knew exactly the type of painting I was, and they were like, oh, I looked at it as laying a brick a day.
Oh, I like that.
I'm like, oh, wait, what do you mean? And they were like pretty much describing like, oh, he was doing the painting, or he was looking at the painting like, all I need to do is just one stroke a day and everything. Yeah. And then, so Van Gogh, long story short, for anyone that doesn't know who Van Gogh is, like he has a tragic ending in his life. Yeah. Right? And one of my other friends were like, I actually know the painting you're talking about, and I think it's a sobriety thing.
Oh,
that he got to live, and he was tracking each stroke. And when he said that, I was like, damn. Yeah. It made me look at the painting even different. Like, what stroke was the last stroke?
Oh, dang. Hold on. Hold on. That was like a punch in the gut, dude. That's deep. Yeah.
Yep. And then with having all of that, mind you, we're looking at the same painting. Yeah. And three different guys has three different process and three different thoughts of the same painting. Yeah. Our commonality was the painting. Yeah. But our friendship grew because of the diverse of thoughts that we had with each other.
I love that, man. That's a great metaphor for life, right? Yeah. Like life being the painting, and that's so cool. I love that. That's a perfect way to sum up kind of like why it's important to get different perspectives on things. Like. Coming up for me as a kid, I grew up around majority, it was Hispanic culture, and my neighbors, would be Hispanic. Everybody would be of that, just of that culture. It was beautiful to see, because as a kid, I'm going to their house and seeing like how like their household is ran, right? And I never thought anything of it, like it being any different, you know, until like you get older and you start to realize like, oh wow, there's cultural differences in the way that we grow up and stuff. And it's been a blessing for me to see different perspectives from different people, because you learn those lessons in different ways. There's sayings and philosophy and like ideals that come from different cultures and different backgrounds and points of view that can help you mold a better picture of like what your life looks like. And I hold on to that stuff till this day. I remember my first best friend ever, his name was Vincent, and he was a short kid. It was so funny because he was just always like this little like rascal, you know what I'm saying? We were like 7 or 8 or whatever, but he was my neighbor, man. And being over at his family's house and seeing how they did things, there's certain things that his mom would say and stuff that you pick up on as a kid because you're just like a sponge. And it, like, I remember it till this day. You know what I mean? That was the first concept of having your shoes off in the house.
Oh yeah.
Like that's a
for real.
Yeah, I was like 7, running in with my sneakers.
Dog.
With my Velcro shoes, like, you know, my zip ups, and just not like taking them off or anything. And I remember her being like, "Nah, we don't do that here," you know. And I'm a no shoes household myself now, you know.
Yeah.
I'm like, that makes sense. Why would you want to track anything outside? And even deeper, there's cultural differences, beliefs that come with that too.
Yeah.
That I learned along the way. But yeah, I think diversity in friendship is important in shaping who you are as a person.
Yes.
And I would encourage anybody, like if you can, you know, a lot of it is through life experience, like when you're younger. Mm-hmm. Circumstantially, you maybe you go to school that's predominantly like in one kind of category, whatever the case is, and you make friends with the people around you. But if as an adult, I would say it's even more important to try to make friends with people who have different, you know, come from a different walk of life than you do, to try to gain some additional perspective, man.
How do you navigate towards this as an adult now, right? How do you navigate friendships towards an adult? Because ultimately, when we were talking about this earlier, ultimately your friendships tend to migrate into the community that you are trying to build, right? Or you looking for a community.
Yeah.
As an adult, as a kid, you don't even know that. Like
right.
As a kid, you're not looking into finding a community.
Yeah.
But in high school, you start looking for kids that look like you, dress like you, speak like you, and then therefore you tend to navigate towards them. My wife was telling me about this, and I was like, man, I didn't even think about that. Yeah. I didn't even think like that was the case. But yeah, she's absolutely right, because I gravitated towards like hip hop dancing guys. You know, like crump was a really big thing.
Whoa, yeah, do you remember that?
Yes, dude.
And somewhere there's a video or footage of me in a triple XL t-shirt and like some baggy, you know what I'm saying, doing all that stuff, man.
Bro,
and I hope it never gets out. I really do.
There's definitely a video of me with a triple X t-shirt
doing the whole
100%.
And
dude.
I have zero rhythm, so it was not pretty. Shout out to Crumpin', man.
Dude,
still big in
Tie-dyes was the best, dog.
Wow.
Dude.
That's taking me back, man. I remember we'd have like DVDs of these little...
dude. We used
Crumpin' versus Clownin'.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tommy the Clown. And dude.
It's still happening today.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. I saw it on social media the other day. I was like, wow, shout out to...
Wow, Tie-dyes and Tommy the Clown.
They're still doing it.
Dang, man. That's so crazy.
That took me back, man. I'm sorry.
No.
Like, yo.
I don't know if you... Like, so back home... This is the islands, right? We used to bootleg these DVDs.
Yeah,
dog.
well, I mean, yeah.
Like, so we would like, my friend would bootleg it, and then I would borrow it. After he borrows it, we exchange it and everything.
Man, there's still some burnt CDs and DVDs I've never gotten back from. We're talking about friends. I got friends out there that still have like my whatever. There's like a Cat Williams stand up that I never got back.
No way.
Yeah. And it wasn't even mine.
No, I have DVDs of anime from my friends and everything was sort that I still like have to this day, man.
With the little like book, the CD book, and damn, that took me back.
Bro.
Ooh, I'm getting old, bro.
But,
I'm getting old. I'm getting old. My son would listen, I'd be like, what are you talking about?
So with that being said, as high schoolers or children, I guess you could say, we're looking for common ground. And as adults, we find out that ultimately it's us looking for community.
Yeah.
So how do you navigate yourself into that? Like, do you have to find yourself first and seeing all of these things, or do you naturally gravitate towards interest?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think they go hand in hand. I would say the first step is carving out like who you are, and you gotta be true to yourself. I think nothing like things change, but everything remains the same. You know what I mean? Like as kids, you want to fit in, you want to be popular, but like you'll sacrifice your interest or who you are just to fit in. Damn. Right? And I think we still do that as adults because we're not prioritizing like really what we're looking for, right? Whether it be a shared interest, for example, or a part of us that want to grow. Like, let's say you just want to be like an entrepreneur, and you want to find friends who are interested in being entrepreneurs as well, and you guys can help each other grow and all that stuff. But like what's around you is maybe things that are a little bit more like sedentary, or people that are a little bit more sedentary. And for the sake of having friends, you'll go that route when in reality you want to try to venture out on your own to find that community of like entrepreneurs, right?
Yes.
You have to stay true to what you actually want and who you actually are. And it's obviously easier said than done, because the scary thing is taking that leap because of rejection, because of failure. And I think we go through that as kids when we're making friends, and I think we go through the same thing now as adults. It's just easier to mask it as like, oh no, well I do like, staying home and watching The Simpsons with my friends, and we have game nights and stuff like that. I love a good game night. I'm not taking jabs at game nights. But maybe you want something more, and it's just the fear of the unknown. So I would say staying true to yourself, really trying to find out who you are. It always starts within, it always starts internally. And then, taking that leap of faith, like you said, man, is the big thing. Like, kind of do what's scary. My journey was, I feel like I need to test myself, test my resiliency, see what I'm made of, build determination, build, endurance, build, resiliency. What's the best way to do that? Oh, let's go join a gym, see what's around. And like, that's how we became friends, you know what I mean? And now I got friends who come there as well.
Yeah.
And so everybody's journey is different, but I would say it's that thing. Figure out what your interests, what your goals, what your passions are, and then put yourself in that environment. And don't settle, don't sacrifice or lie to yourself about what you want out of that community, what you want out of those friendships. And then the rest will take care of itself, man. It becomes easier the more you do it too.
100%.
And I will say this lastly, if you have friends who you feel like are also doing the same thing or interested in the same thing, why not be the person to just try to spark that? If you got a group chat right now and everyone's like talking about all these cool ideas and stuff like that, but no one's taking the leap, why don't you be the person to like challenge your friend?
Wow.
Press the issue and see what happens. And if anything, at least they know that they're not crazy. I have so many awesome friends that like are doing really cool things right now. And I remember the first crack at it. Like this is, culminating. I got one of my best friends right now is starting his own eyewear line. And like, I've seen him go from something, from music to like this, to this, to this, to this. And, you still do it. But I think one thing, we had a cool conversation with me doing this podcast and him doing that, was like, man, it's just really cool to see that like we're not giving up, right? And that none of that would have happened. Not to say like I'm the reason why, but like, because he's got a bunch of friends who are doing the same stuff too. But the fact that you have that encouragement from your people, and the fact that they're asking you like, hey, what's going on? Like, how's it been? And all that stuff, it starts to become less crazy. And it doesn't have to be something, like starting your own business. Maybe it's just like learning how to surf, you know what I mean? And you get around the people who encourage you to do that. And you invest that life into them, and they feel like they're capable of doing it, so they do.
No. What are the downfalls of not having friendships leading into an adult?
Yeah.
being an adult, retiring. You're 65 now and you still don't have friends. You don't even have a cat named Sylvester anymore.
No.
You know, like, where are you now in life?
R.I.P. Sylvester?
Dude,
anymore.
So, my question is to you is there benefits to having friends as a old man, old lady?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think as human beings, we need connection, right? Human connection. And one thing I've heard kind of circulate too is you can't get everything from one relationship, right? Like, you can't expect to get all of your needs, from your spouse, like serviced, right? I'm not going to go like watch the game and have a beer with my wife. You know what I mean? Like, that's just not like, it's not her thing.
Different
interests. It's exactly. She's not going to go catch it like the UFC fights with me. You know what I'm saying? And that, which is fine, by the way. But my whole point in saying that is, like, as a human being, I feel like we are obviously like complex, dynamic people. And so, like, you have to have a community that serves like every aspect of you. You know what I mean? And I think also for the sake of like identity and like freedom in your identity, you have to cast a wide net, And I think friendship is a part of that too. Like, if you're somebody, this is something I've gone through myself and that I've talked to people about before with parenting. Like, you can't just be a dad. You know what I'm saying? If that's what your life is and that is all consuming, like, you're going to go crazy, man, because like no one's supposed to be just one thing. And you can't just be a husband. You can't just be a friend. You can't just be one of the boys. You know what I'm saying? You have to, we're all dynamic, we're all complex, and we all have like needs and interests and things that have to be kind of served in different aspects of our lives, including different friendships. So I think you just like, it's probably possible. There's like some of the greats, like Nikola Tesla, I think, is like famous for being like alone. Yeah. And I mean, exactly. It's pretty, that's exactly like that reaction is exactly what I think sums it up. Like, was it worth it? Like, he did all these great things, but like, if you can't share that with anybody, if you can't celebrate other people's victories, like, I think it just makes you more of a like cruel person, and it makes it hard too. This might sound a little bleak, I don't know, but like, who's to say you make it as far as you should in life without friends around you? And I'm talking about life, like
Facts.
Living. Like, who's to say you might have died at 65 because you didn't have no friends, but if you shared, your joy and your love and your, and your success with people around you, and you shared in theirs and everything of that sort, you kind of all fed into each other, you wouldn't live to be 100. There are studies about like people in, I think, Norway. I think you told me this.
Yeah.
How like they were living longer, and the only difference was that they just like were statistically happier.
Yep.
That's wild. And like, you can't just be happy from me and Bob, like, and it's just me and Bob the whole time, and like Bob's really annoying now, like, you know what I'm saying, and that's your only friend. It comes from a shared experience from everyone, different walks of life, gives you better perspective, it makes you a better person, I believe. And people talk about the meaning of life, obviously, like, quite a bit. Like, that's like the biggest question, I think, is like the whole meaning of all of this. And I feel like, I don't know if it's the full-on meaning, but I feel like a part of it is to have a shared experience, with the people around you,
Dude, there's so many times where I've had moments where it was super exciting, and all I wanted to do is share this experience with someone,
Yeah, and I think that's why we're so attracted to social media and putting our life out there. It's skewed because of all the other things that go into it and how it's kind of manipulated to become addictive. But at the center of it all, I think, is just sharing your life and your journey and your joy with other people, and them sharing in that experience as well. Shout out to Drake, man. He has a line where he says, "I know my funeral is going to be lit just how I treated people." I want that to be my. I want to be packed out, when my day comes, and that is all about how you impact other people's lives and how you allow people to impact your life too. 100%. And to me, that's a full life. So
yes,
yeah.
Dang, bro, that's so crazy. That's so awesome. That's such a great. That's Holy crap.
I blacked out. I don't know what I said.
No. That's such a great man.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that is awesome. That's super, super awesome.
Do you want to finish off with a final wellness check?
Yes. Oh, dude, but that was so. That's such a great way to end the freaking episode.
Just walk
that
out.
was such a I feel like that should have been the wellness check
That's
that
it?
we did,
Then, yeah.
dude. Dang. Yeah. No. This is the wellness check. Like this episode, I know. Like, listen, this is a little unorthodox because I'm gonna tell you this right now. We normally have a timer.
Yeah.
We didn't have a timer tonight.
Yeah.
Right.
Could have easily been 2 hours.
100%. But no, dude, this was such a great conversation. I feel like this is how we should end this for sure.
Right on.
We should end this episode. However, if you don't mind telling people about next episode.
Yeah, for sure. I think, man, now that we're rattling through these, it's kind of fun. Looking forward to next week and looking forward to what's ahead. Next week, we'll be discussing stress, dealing with stress, the ins and outs of stress. You put it nicely. You said how stress can be a medicine, right?
Or poison.
Or a poison. And I think that's interesting, man. I'm excited to dive into that concept with you. Obviously, everyone deals with stress, and I think finding good ways to deal with stress, manage it appropriately, and kind of share in that experience, making sure that you know you're not alone, will be good to unpack. So I will be well rested, hopefully by then, after our trip when I come back, and we can dive into it more.
Heck yeah.
Awesome, Dave.
Awesome, brother.
Appreciate you,
Thank
dog.
you. I appreciate you.
Of course, man.
Thank you.